Have you ever dared to enter a place everyone warned you about? A group of friends, led by the adventurous Jamie, decided to test their courage by venturing into the infamous house on Hollow Hill. They had been told the stories, the whispers of its dark and twisted history, yet they laughed it off, dismissing it as nothing more than town folklore. As they crossed the threshold, the air grew thick with a feeling of dread. The house, decrepit and imposing, seemed to stare back at them, its silence more deafening than any sound. The laughter, once echoing through the eerie stillness, began to fade as the oppressive atmosphere sunk its teeth into their bravado. Objects moved on their own, shadows danced in the corners of their eyes, and an indescribable chill ran down their spines. The house was alive, feeding off their fear. As the front door creaked shut behind them, the laughter died. They were not alone. The house was not simply old and abandoned, it felt alive, watching, waiting. The air was heavy with anticipation, as if the house had been expecting them. Unseen forces stirred, orchestrating a symphony of the supernatural. Objects seemed to move of their own accord, defying the laws of physics. Eerie whispers floated on the air, a ghostly echo of conversations long past. Even the shadows seemed to have a mind of their own, shifting and lurking in corners where no light fell. Casey, the skeptic, attempted to rationalize the inexplicable, clinging to logic like a lifeline in a sea of uncertainty. They tried to convince the others, and perhaps themselves, that there was a scientific explanation for everything they were witnessing. But the house and the growing sense of dread that permeated it begged to differ. The fear was tangible, thick in the air, and the house seemed to thrive on it, growing stronger and more menacing. As the house fed off their mounting fear, they realized they were trapped. Suddenly, the house transported them back in time, revealing its long-buried secrets. As if caught in a spectral whirlwind, the friends are plunged into the echoes of the past, their surroundings shifting into the stark reality of the 17th century. Dana, the sensitive of the group, is the catalyst for this temporal journey. Her connection to the spiritual realm allows them to pierce the veil of time, to witness the house's grim history firsthand. They see a family not much different from their own, living within these now haunted walls. A father, a mother, and 2 children, all accused of witchcraft, a charge that in those days was as good as a death sentence. Their only crime? Being different, being misunderstood, and living in a time when fear ruled over reason. As the echoes of the past play out before them, Alex, the historian, starts piecing together the mystery. He observes the family's rituals, their use of herbs, their whispered incantations. He sees their fear, their desperation, their determination to survive. Yet in the end, they were powerless against the wave of fear and superstition that swept through their community. Accused, convicted, and executed, their spirits were left to haunt their home, their rage and despair, seeping into the very walls of the house. These tragic events, this cycle of fear and persecution, had given birth to the malevolent spirit that now held them captive. But it was more than just a vengeful ghost. It was the embodiment of the family's unresolved past, a spectral manifestation of their unending torment. As the friends are pulled back into the present, the chilling reality of their situation becomes clear. The house, filled with the pain and anger of its original inhabitants, wouldn't let them leave. Not until the curse was broken, not until the family story was told, not until justice was served. The house's past held the key to their escape, but could they decipher it in time? They had seen the past, had witnessed the family's tragic end. Now they had to find a way to break the cycle, to free the spirits trapped within, and in doing so save themselves. To break free, they needed to confront not just their fears, but the house's tortured history. The air grew thick with anticipation as they steeled themselves for the harrowing encounter ahead. Jamie, the reluctant leader, felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. Alex, their historian, clutched a time-worn diary that told the tale of the wronged family. Casey, the skeptic, was visibly shaken, his disbelief shattered by the house's undeniable power. And Dana, the sensitive one, was their bridge to the spiritual realm, her face pale but determined. They found themselves in the heart of the house, a room pulsating with an energy that was at once terrifying and tragic. It was here that they faced the spirit of the accused witch, a spectral figure radiating bitterness and sorrow. Her eyes held centuries of pain. Her voice echoed with the anger of the wronged. "You invade my sanctuary just like the ones before. Do you come to accuse me further or to gawk at my torment?" Her words hung heavily in the air, a challenge and a plea wrapped into one. "No," Jamie spoke, her voice steady despite her pounding heart. "We're here to listen, to understand, to acknowledge the injustice done to you and your family." As they unveiled the truth, the spirit's anger subsided, replaced by a mournful longing. The ritual of release began, a sacred dance of words and actions, of confession and absolution. It was an intense and emotional process, their hearts aching with the pain of the past, their spirits rising with the hope of release. In the end, they stood together, sweaty and exhausted but triumphant. The house, once a monolith of dread and despair, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The air lightened, the oppressive shadows retreated. The spirit of the witch, finally heard and understood, faded into the ether, her chains of torment broken. Forgiveness and understanding echoed through the house, a balm on its old wounds. They had faced their fears, confronted the past, and found their way out of the darkness. The house on Hollow Hill was no longer a prison, but a monument to the power of empathy and the importance of truth. The house shuddered, the air crackled, and they knew they had succeeded. The once ominous walls, the soul of the malevolent spirit, began to crumble. The house was losing its power, its insatiable hunger for fear finally sated. The eerie whispers that once filled the air started to fade, replaced by an almost tangible sense of relief. The curse that had held the house and its victims captive was breaking. One by one, spectral apparitions of the accused family emerged. Their faces no longer twisted in fear and pain, but softened in gratitude. As the last brick fell, the spirits dissipated into the ether, finally free after centuries of torment. The group, too, felt a release. Their fear, their dread, everything that the house had fed on was gone. As dawn broke, they stumbled out of the wreckage, forever changed. They had entered the house as daredevils and emerged as survivors.